Welcome back. I kind of thought we was going to get away from the wiggle warts, and we've got a few things planned where we do, but I just got in 12 wiggle warts for a guy in Alabama, and we're going to be doing some different craw and shad patterns to match that area, the Coosa River, Lay Lake, a little bit on Gunnersville, so forth, so on. So those of you that live in that area, chime in and see what you think. I kind of picked these patterns out as we talk through some things for those particular water patterns, so get ready. We're going to do about 5 or 6 of these. Some of these I may have done in the past, but we're going to go ahead and shoot them all. So let's go spray some paint. All right, we've got a couple wiggle warts we're going to be doing in the Enchilada Craw. It's a pattern I've done before, but I want to go ahead and shoot some of those things in case, so you don't have to go back and try to find some old videos of those particular patterns. And again, this is for a guy in Alabama that is I'll just more or less kind of give me the free run of some patterns. We've talked through his lakes, and which is the Coosa River, Lay Lake, kind of some stained water at times, fairly decently clear water, let's say 1 to 4 foot visibility. Is kind of what he has told me. And so we're gonna do a couple of some fall patterns, some spring patterns, and obviously this is going to be a spring pattern for that particular area. And what we've got is a muted yellow, not a particular recipe here, but I don't want a bright transparent yellow like I'm using here. Okay, so I'll tone that down to a little white, and most of that on the top's really not going to matter anyway. We're going to darken it a little bit just right here on the sides, and keep it kind of light on the bellies, because most of that's going to be an orange color anyway. So we'll go ahead and knock this one out while we're here. I'll try not to show both patterns every time. I'll edit this out a little bit to where it's not real redundant for you guys as viewers, but we're basically got 12 warts. We're doing 6 different colors, and we're going to do 3 2-bait series of each of a craw pattern and 3 of a shad pattern, unless he calls me back and wants to go with something a little bit different. But we are getting started. So Stephen, thank you for the work. We kind of had a little mishap when we set stuff in. So I've had his warts for a little bit of time, and I'm going to go ahead and get those knocked out for him today, so that he's got an opportunity to go fish those lakes this spring and try some of these patterns out. So anyway, just cleaning out a brush right here. I've got my other brushes loaded and ready to go, but this particular pattern doesn't look too complex, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different colors lined up, and basically got 5 or 6 brushes. So which does make things a little more easy for me. And I know some of the other ones like Jen and some of those, they use 1 brush and they do probably a lot more volume than I do. But this is just the way I do it. So kind of clearing that one out, so we'll be ready. These are some really nice, I like these square stamp bills. That really shows some age of these pre-Rapalas. But man, the rattles are in good shape, and bodies are in good shape. So we're going to protect the identity of that with some tape, and we'll remove that, and I'll show you how we do that as we go through it. But we're going to keep that up on the top, and down here in the bill area we're going to do a little bit of work, but I'm going to let it drift down the sides a little bit because this is going to be a splatter back type pattern. And so I want to leave that little, basically where the paint atomizes a little bit, and leave that fuzzy because that's going to match what we're doing on the rest of the bait. But we want to leave yellow around the bill area, and that looks pretty good. Just going to show you, if you're not a wiggle wart guy, I don't know if you can see that on the camera, how that's got the square stamped portion in the bill and this one doesn't. This one's a little bit newer or come from a different factory. To me, these particular baits, they hunt a lot more. These square, I call it the square stamp. You can see that impression that was left in that mold and that bill. So anyway, to me, that's going to be a real good fish catcher. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to flip this over. So we've got to do our belly color next. And we'll get us an X-Acto knife ready, blade. So we want to remove. I'm just going to get it started. I'm not going to, oh, we're getting lucky. That one already was red. Perfect. This might, I'll tell you what, we're going to leave that down. Orange, and we'll go ahead and remove that and see what it looks like. Man, that tape's coming off in pieces, probably because after the wet sanding, and now see, it's going to leave some lines, a little bit of white along that edge. We don't want that. So I'm going to real lightly just touch that up to where you can still read the wording. This color is vermilion, and it's a real deep, it's an orange, reddish orange color. I use that quite often, and I really like the Comart vermilion. Haven't seen that, or haven't used it. They Createx may have it, but haven't seen that. And make sure you're cooled off if you're going to use a stencil like this. And these pre-Rapalas don't always match up very good. This one's actually not bad. It's actually kind of smaller. Fits like a glove in there. And I've done this pattern a few different ways, but today we're going to do it with the black line. Sometimes I'll use the brown, the same brown that we're going to put on the back. But again, today I'm going to use the black. And the hardest thing in shooting through these stencils is seeing how dark you've gotten and making sure you know where you've been on some of these real fine lines. But just hit it once, and I try to kind of fade this in because it's a little bit bigger opening. There we go. Looks really good, really good. And what I think makes this pattern is the next couple of moves that we make. And that's with our brown. And this is a leaf green, and don't want to cover up all the red. Leave the shoulders, and we'll extend that down here into the bill just a little bit. If you were just going to do one bait, you'd go 3 of leaf green and 6 of the brown, and this time I balanced it up a little more, made it a little more of more of that olive or green pumpkinish type color. Okay, but now we've got to do splatter, so we're going to be using that same color, but we've got to reduce our pressure, take our nozzle cap off, at least the way I do it. You can splatter it with a toothbrush or whatever you like. Whoa, that's not the right color, that's orange. Look down there. There we go. Do a little bit of our bigger droplets, and we'll come back, move the pressure up a little bit, and do some smaller. Gives you a little bit of depth in the pattern, variation in it. And we're pretty much there. Now on that brush that we cleaned out earlier, we've got to add another red to it. And that's going to be our crimson red for our eyes. I like that to be a little bit different shade of red where they really pop. We'll use our stencil for that. Got everything married back in good, and the last thing we've got is our pupil, and for that I'm going to use our nail. We're going to use the kind of the smaller size nail. Pretty good blob on it. And that is what we call the Enchilada Craw. Hot Enchilada Craw, I think I used to term it. Guys, let me know, especially if you are watching this video and you fish Lay Lake, Coosa River, Gunnersville, some of those lakes in that part. I have been on Gunnersville myself, and there's no doubt that off those ledges and outside of those weed beds, I would throw this color. No doubt about it. So anyway, but please give me feedback, man. Let me know what you think of this pattern. And it's one I've done a few times, I think, on the website, but we're gonna, or on YouTube here. So until next week, Green Country Baits signing out.